Hello, my name is Aditya, and I help people who want to become entrepreneurs start making money online. And all of the information I'm about to give you in this lecture, where I go through all of this stuff that I prepared for you, it's all stuff that I've accumulated and learned and tested myself from top tier entrepreneurs like God tier entrepreneurs like Sam Evans, Charlie Morgan, Alex Hormozy. You probably don't recognize all three of those names, but they're really good entrepreneurs. So if you actually want to start making a good income online, this video is just going to be raw, pure value for you. Otherwise, doors right there. So people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. Okay, this is a quote from Alex Hormozy. As you can see, this guy makes like he's worth like 100 million or something. He makes like 10 million a year or something. It's crazy. You basically just need to learn these three things, and then you need to remind yourself every time that you forget one of them. So you need to, number one, perfect your mindset, and then you need to have a clear path of action on what to do, and then you just need to learn the basics of whatever business model you're doing. And after you have a clear path of action, literally just follow that path, and then you're gonna get results, right? It's crazy because you have a path, so you have a starting point and you have an ending point, and then you just have a path of action to get from your starting point to your ending point. And if you just follow it, you're gonna get results. It's wild. It's crazy, you just follow the path, but people like to, look for this new cool thing that's going to give them money, this new trendy thing that's going to get them rich quick. Like 5 ways to start making passive income, $750 a day with 30 minutes of work. And real quickly, before I talk about why learning is coping and you're having a ton of copium, if you are actually serious and you want to start making money online seriously, and you love the whole idea of the entrepreneur lifestyle, you'd love to live around the world and live off your own terms and be your own boss, whatever, all that blah, blah, blah. And you don't want to, waste your life away in a 9 to 5 cubicle job, working for like customer service for like T-Mobile or something, like having customers scream at you. Check out the first link in the description below. It will change your life. It's probably the best investment you're ever going to make. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. You can check it out for a minute or two. If it's not for you, you can just close off the tab, no problem. And yeah, click the first link in the description right now. Yeah, learning is coping. So you're just having a bunch of copium. You're just getting that sourced right into your mouth, right? Because you already know what to do, bro. You already know what to do. You're having something called shiny object syndrome. This is what Sam Evans invented, I believe. Right? So basically, let me erase this. I had to re-record this because the first time the audio got messed up, so that's just my drawing from the first time. But basically, shiny object syndrome is, as you can see, this black line right here. This is your starting point, and this is your goal. And this path that you made is just to get from where you are to your goal. But then along the way, you're gonna find this little shiny object in the way, and you're gonna want to get it and you just, you look for shiny objects and you look for the shortcut. And guess what? This doesn't exist, right? It's always gonna be there. It's always gonna be nagging at you. It's always going to be shiny. It's always going to be there. You just have to learn to avoid it and go straight for your target, right? This target is your goal. And guess what? So let's say that let me get my pen out here. Let's say that you get about here in progress, and then you decide to go towards the shiny object. Guess what? You're probably not even going to reach the shiny object. You're probably going to stop around here towards your progress, and then you're going to look for this new thing. You're going to come up here, and then you're going to work towards getting this shiny object, and then boom, you're going to stop here, and you're going to go towards that, and then you're gonna go there, and you can see that you're never gonna make full progress in one direction, and you're never actually gonna finish one thing, and you just keep resetting your progress over and over and over, and you're never actually gonna reach your goal if you just keep looking at shiny objects. This is the most important thing. This is gonna save you so much time if you just learn to have a path and then just stick to the plan, because you're diverging from the path towards your goal, right? Because right now you probably have this needy mindset where you need to look for the shortcut to get money as fast as possible. So that's the whole reason why you look for these shiny objects and you do this new thing, because you want to look for that $300 a day. Probably not so much since you're watching these lectures, but it still kind of exists in everyone, including me. So here's the kind of like the pipeline, right? So more learning, YouTube videos, lectures, stuff like that. The more that you learn and things, you're gonna have more exposure to like new business models and hot new trending ways to get rich quick. Seven passive income ways to make $800 a day really quickly, and then that's gonna give you shiny object syndrome, because you're like, wow, okay, if I just do this easy work instead of doing the hard work that I'm doing right now, I can get instant results, and I can get passive income every single day. And then you're going to reset your progress, right? So let's say that you're working on a YouTube channel or a dropshipping store. You're going to quit that, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to start doing this thing now, because guess what? I'm going to start getting passive income online. It's going to be so easy. And then it's a never ending loop, because once you start, like I just showed you, you're going to start working towards this new shiny object, and you're going to stop in the path, and you're going to go to a new thing. It doesn't stop, right? It does not stop. You tell yourself like, this is the last time. Okay, I'm done. This is my business model. I'm not gonna switch. But it does not stop. It's a never-ending loop. It's just gonna keep going and going and going. And just trust me. Just stick to one path. Even if the best things arise, just stick to the path, right? So basically, all you need to learn is the basics, which I already mentioned. And why do you only need to learn the basics and nothing more than that, right? Because it's all that you need to know in order to have the general direction that you're going into. Because focusing on the best way to optimize the business model, grow faster, the best cold calling method to attract the most clients, close the most clients, blah blah. This mindset is the most important thing, bro. Because all of this, it's like the 5 to 15%. That's like the extra. That's like the cherry on top. Mindset is 85 to 95%. I'll get more into that in a second. But this is all extra stuff that people like to focus on, even though it doesn't matter basically at all. And I'm going to talk about that more in a second. You'll figure out the rest, like more than the basics. Once you get your hands dirty and you actually start walking the path, you'll see all the small things, right? You'll see all like the pebbles and the rocks in the road, and you'll fix that issue once you get to it, right? You don't need to foreshadow so much, right? So here's an example to just kind of illustrate how stupid the idea of, learning everything instead of just learning the basics before you actually start. So let's say that a fat guy, he wants to start going to the gym and he's studying and learning the best workout splits for months. And instead of actually starting to go to the gym, he doesn't take action. He doesn't actually start going to the gym and he just keeps studying. He's like, no, I still need to study the best workout split that's the most scientifically optimal, like Jeff Nippard stuff, if you know who that is. And then obviously he's not going to get any results, duh, because he's not actually going to the gym. He's just studying all day. Nobody who studies all day without going to the gym is actually going to get any gains, right? And let's say alternatively, he starts going there immediately and he's like, experimenting with all the machines. He's experimenting with the weight. He's learning the form. People are helping him. He's watching like YouTube videos on the form and stuff. He's testing out all the machines, like the cycles and the cardio machines and the Stairmaster and the treadmill and stuff. And then he gets better over time. He starts learning what works for him, the weights that work for him, the form that he's best at, where he feels a burn. And then obviously he's going to get better over time, and then he's going to get results because he actually started going to the gym, and instead of just learning and learning and learning, he actually started implementing and doing. And then he learned all the small stuff once he was actually in the gym and he actually started doing stuff. So I can give you all of the knowledge in the world, but you need to apply it somehow, because then it's just a bunch of wasted potential, right? Humans are just potential, and then you're just wasting it all if you're learning all of this stuff and then you're not implementing all of it. So what do I learn then? So I already touched on this at the start, but I'm just going to touch on it a little bit more. Mindset and the basics, right? So mindset is about 85 to 95% of entrepreneurship/business. You ask any successful entrepreneur this. Sam Evans, Charlie Morgan, Alex Hormozi, those are the three I always mention, but basically anybody, every single successful entrepreneur, they say mindset is the most important thing. Just forget about, well, no, don't forget, but, don't focus on the business model and the best optimization stuff. Once you actually have a good business, then you can focus on all the extra 10-20% optimization stuff. But right now you just need the mindset and you need the basics. Like basics is just the direction to go into. And have a lethal mindset down, and you can't fail in any business model because it's 85 to 95% of it, right? So you're still going to be 85 to 95% of the way there. And then the business model and the extra stuff is, just the cherry on top, like I said. And here's two examples just kind of help you illustrate this idea. So it's like, let's say that you have like a math test, or I don't know, like an English test or something, and then you're trying to memorize all like the little facts, like the little rules for each math equation. I don't know, like all of the laws of the math equations that exist, but you don't even have the big concepts down. You don't even know how to solve the math equations themselves, like the core concepts, but you're memorizing all of the names for the test. I'm like, you're doing the 80% of the work that gets you 20% of the results, which I'm going to talk about in a second also. And another thing that you can think about is that you can take everything from a good entrepreneur, you can make him start from zero, and he'll find a way to make a new successful business, right? Because he's learned the skills, the mindset and the skills and the basics that are actually going to lead to a successful business. And alternatively, you can give a successful business, has a bunch of employees, it's making millions a year, and you can give that to somebody with a bad, like a quote unquote normie mindset. Like if you're in high school, you probably know the type of person I'm talking about right now, but like the type of person that like watches TikToks and plays Brawl Stars all day for like 4 to 6 hours. You know the person I'm talking about. Like you could give them you could give somebody with a bad normie mindset the business, and they're going to find a way to ruin it. They're going to find a way to make it fall apart, and they're going to turn a good business, and they're going to ruin it. They're going to burn it to the ground. So with that being said, here are some good sources of mindset information so you can actually implement this. So there's 3 main categories. There's good books such as $100 Million Offers and $100 Million Leads. These are both books from Alex Hormozi, the GOAT. And when you read these books, you're going to have to think about the bias that the author has, right? So why would he make these books? Let's say in the books he's saying, use my let's say that he says, use my $129 a month software in order to get good offers and good leads. And that's the only way that you're going to make money, and you have to buy my software, and it's really expensive, but it's worth the investment, right? You might want to consider doing that, but first you have to think about, what's their intent, what's their bias, right? So do they really have your best intentions in mind? That's really important to think about. For Alex Hormozi, he does have your best intentions in mind because his whole business model is centered around, okay, I'm going to give a bunch of free value and good information, and then people are going to make good businesses out of that, and then they're going to come back to his company, and then he's going to invest in their companies, and he's going to make a bunch of money from them. And then, so yeah, you just need to pay attention to bias. And there's also YouTube videos from Alex Hormozi. He makes business videos. Sam Ovens, he makes mindset videos. And then Charlie Morgan, he's basically the same as Sam Ovens, right? So let me just write those down for you. Okay, those are the 3 GOAT entrepreneurs. Just look them up on YouTube. They're amazing if you want to actually do good in business. Those are great sources of information, right? And then there's acquisition.com also, which is also Alex Hormozi's website, where he basically gives full courses upon the books that he made, right? So it's just the books, but basically video form and also more in depth. I recommend them more because it's so much faster to learn from courses than books, in my opinion. Like, books are just so much slower, and it's also a lot more detailed. And then also there's the basics, right? So unlike the 80% of the work that's going to get you 20% of the results, like I mentioned earlier, where you memorize the small facts on the maths test or the English test, whatever, this is going to be the 20% of effort that's going to get you 80% of the results, because it's the basics, right? It's the core foundational principles that's going to make up the path that you need to go along, right? So basically, when you learn the basics, you're going to have a path that you can actually go in rather than being like completely lost. Like, a bunch of people, when they hear like Eman Gadji talking about agency and teaching agency and stuff, it's so confusing because he doesn't even give like the definition of what an agency is. So you need to know the basics before you actually start giving all the detailed stuff. Like, I remember I pirated his course, and I literally didn't understand what he was talking about. So make sure that you know the basics first, and before you do all the specific stuff, just have the path down, and then you can decorate it. And decorating is basically everything that's not the basics, if that makes sense. So then since you have the basics, you're gonna know what direction to go into, and that's all that you need to know, right? You don't need to know anything more than that, because you'll learn all of the specific stuff and all of the nitty gritty and all of the little odd case circumstances, like the rare occurrences. You'll learn all of that with experience, right? You'll learn all of that over time when you actually get your hands dirty and you actually start doing the stuff. And some sources of this is that you can just look up a YouTube full course. So this is like a full 18.5 hour dropshipping course. And then this is a full 5-hour agency course. And then once again, make sure that the creators don't have bias, or at least make sure that they have your best intentions in mind, right? And then you don't really have to worry about that if you're buying a course. And then another thing is that you can buy a course if you want to invest in your education, and also, that if you want. That's another option. Make sure that the creators don't have bias, right? Or make sure that they have your best intention in mind. Like this 18.5 hour dropshipping course from Jordan Bone. The way that he makes money from this is not from AdSense or anything, at least not mostly from AdSense. Pretty much all of the income that comes from this is from affiliate links, right? So he recommends products that people should buy in order to get their dropshipping store running, and then he just gives affiliate links for people to click, and then he makes a few dollars off that from each person, and then he can give the full course for free. This one, I don't know, I just copy paste it. And once again, if you want to start dropshipping after you've learned mindset, Jordan Bone, you can just look up Jordan Bone dropshipping course. This is really popular. Might be outdated now. I don't really know. I don't think so. And yeah, this one, once again, I just looked up agency full course. I don't really know about that. And yeah, that's basically it. And on the note of buying a course and paid education, if you're serious about making money online and you love the whole idea of the entrepreneur lifestyle, digital nomad, making money from your laptop, and you don't want to live a boring, brick and mortar cubicle 9 to 5 where you're basically wasting your life away, and you actually want to have a meaningful, fun life, that's, it's great. It's a great life when you're an entrepreneur and you get to live around the world and you get to live on your own terms. Then be sure to click the link in the description, the first link in the description. It will change your life. Just check it out. Look on there for a minute or two, watch the VSL, the video on there. And if you don't like it, if it's not for you, you can just close off the tab, no problem. Yeah, click the first link in the description right now. And yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.